Okay, welcome back to episode number 36. How is everyone doing? Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Happy Friday.
All good. All good.
Summer's nearly over, guys. We've got to enjoy the last few days and weeks that we have left, but summer's really nearly over.
The year's almost over, so it's time for us. We're almost heading to Q4.
Man. Sad.
We've got to push on.
10 toes down.
Do you guys find after university years go quick? It's only me that feels like years go quick.
Sometimes it feels like that. Yeah, it does.
Feels like I'm like Q4 already.
Yeah, flying by.
I've got my AGMs in 3 months. The Johnson AGM. I'm being serious.
No, I know what you mean. How does that work?
We have a board meeting at the end of the year to
Seriously?
discuss. Yeah. It's not a joke. I'm being serious.
What, between you and Melissa, or you and your?
Melissa, yeah.
She
scheduled it.
Yeah, but the thing is that once you do that once a year, like a normal.
No, we have to. We do it all the time. But I'm saying we then year in review. It's December, and then we plan for next year.
Not to get too personal, but it seems like you're looking forward to this AGM.
Yeah.
I can tell that you're.
He's got something off his chest.
I've done a good performance, so you know.
You said you've done a good performance. I want my reward. We're gonna talk about bonus.
Daniel, you should try what is called rolling feedback. So instead of setting the meeting, instant feedback.
That happens all the time, but you need to, of course.
I know it does.
So you're here with Shuel, Pabilo, Olu, and Mr. Daniel Johnson. We have a very, very good episode for you guys, which will be being led by Pabilo. And all around this time of year where we're starting the schools again and students are going back and to finish their second or final year of university. But before that, we just wanted to say a very big thank you to everyone who's been supporting us on the Instagram page, which is @TakeFlightPodcast. And for all the people that have subscribed to our new YouTube channel, as you can see from this video, you can now see us as well as hear us. Please continue to like our posts. Please continue to subscribe on any platform that you're listening to. And please give us reviews as well. We're looking at all the feedback and looking to continuously improve, which is why we're now on video. And we will continue to evolve in the future. So thank you for that. And let's get started.
Take off, take flight with you. For we never fly, but we're flying.
Okay, cool, guys. And Olu mentioned you mentioned the word university, and I thought it would be really good for us, given that some students will be starting university for the first time, some are going back for their second or final year, and now that we've all been in sort of the working world for the last 7 years, and we've picked up a number of different skills, a number of different. We've learned a number of different. We failed also. What would we basically advise ourselves if we started again at university, and those starting on their second or third year? Cool. So, guys, what would you advise and suggest?
Do differently. Enjoy Freshers Week. First of all, enjoy every day and night of Freshers Week.
You did that
period is not coming back.
You did that already.
No, but I'm saying just probably the wider context beyond just going out all the time, but really use that as an opportunity to push yourself. And most people when they're at university, they don't really know anyone that's at the same uni. So really, you're not going to meet anyone if you just spend that time in your room being anxious about meeting people. So really, put yourself in uncomfortable situations. Go say hello. No, everyone's in the same boat as you, and you don't get many opportunities in life to be in an environment where so many people are new and they want to meet people, they want to make relationships. Make the most of that time beyond just to go and out socialize.
I'll quickly tell you a funny story, and then we can. And I hold this because this acts as my phone. So obviously you can already tell. So I didn't know anyone on the campus when I joined the Sunday evening. So lectures were going to start on Monday, and I had a guy from school that was coming. He wasn't staying on campus. He was going to be living off campus. So he came on the Monday. So that Sunday evening, when I moved in, to your point, Shu, I was thinking, okay, how do I go about kind of meeting someone and saying hello? You got all these people running up and down, and so I remember like unpacking my stuff in my room, stepping outside, and then when you act like you're on your phone doing something but you're not. So I'm just standing around, I'm just acting on my phone.
I think this is before the days when you actually had stuff on your phone to do, just straight call and text.
This was straight. I was one dead Nokia. Anyway, I'm on the phone, And I remember sitting by the bench and thinking to myself, bro, this is long. I went back to my room, yeah. Went back to my room. Well, listen. I went back to my room. I had the rice and chicken my mum left, went to bed, bro.
Oh my God.
This is too much.
But Pete, before we hear from Daniel and Olu, going back to your question, what would you do differently? What would you have got, like, building on what I was saying about Freshers Week and really pushing yourself? If you were to start again, would you really go out there and meet and talk to as many people as you can?
Yes, I mean, that was a joke to sort of share with the audience. But I think one of the things I actually noted down here was a lot to do with if I had to do the 3 years again or advise someone going into the second year, one of my biggest things would say focus really heavily on your soft skills. Because a lot of the times we're there and we are trying to learn how to develop our Excel skills or C++, because we're trying to pass and we want to get that grade. But when you start operating in a corporate situation, we know that the underlying success factors is a lot to do with people's soft skills. So one of the biggest things, to your point, is I would try and step out of my comfort zone as much as it would actually hurt me, to network as much as possible. How can I try to not only influence but relate to as many different people as possible, and not only the people that just look like me? Because in the end, when you're in a working environment, you have to articulate your message to a number of different people. So networking 100%, as awkward as it is, and as awkward as it has been, just have to keep pushing.
Yeah,
For sure.
How about you guys? Would you guys what would you guys do differently?
I enjoyed my Freshers Week.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but not only Freshers Week.
No,
In general.
No, just in general, I think my biggest thing would be trying more things in terms of the facility and what university has to offer.
Yeah.
Similar to P, I feel like I went to university with a mindset of, okay, I just need to get a good grade in my course. Get a good grade. If I meet some good, like I went to university with a few friends that I knew, but I was like, if I meet new people there, that's an added bonus. But I just need to make sure I get my grade and be able to get a job outside. And I don't feel like I leveraged the resources that the university has. And just learning and just doing random stuff like talent show. Maybe I'll go on stage, rap a few verses or something like that.
Oh wait, Oli, share it. Share that 16
one
Yeah,
verse.
hear it.
What's
Listen, everyone, listen.
So in school, I used to go to school with like a Converse hoodie. Yeah. So in the playground now, I used to have one verse.
Get to the bars, man.
Wait, I need to get the
He needs
context.
to lay the context. He needs foundation.
I used to wear a Converse hoodie, which was my brother's Converse hoodie, which he didn't know I used to take to school. And my initials is obviously 00. So people called me 00007. Yeah? 0000. So my verse was, I need a hype man. Who's going to hype me up? Get me hype.
I'm everyone's hype man. All right, cool. What do you want to say?
Roll it.
So we got 007 on the mic.
Yo,
for a
okay.
Take Flight exclusive verse. Go ahead. We're ready for you, 00. Go ahead.
Who's that top boy in a Converse? My
Hey.
00 gonna spit one verse.
Hey.
And then as soon as I said that, everyone just started going crazy.
Wait, is that it?
I had
Cold.
but the rest of it was dead. I'm not gonna lie. The rest of it was dead. But with that
my
opening,
God.
because I was in the Converse, I was like, who's that?
Yeah,
boy?
Olu, but that wasn't
one verse.
Olu, that was 2 lines. With those 2 lines,
That's
you need to give me hype as a hype man, but I had nothing to work with, bro.
As soon as you rhyme Converse and verse, people in school, people were mad.
No, going back in the day, if you recite those bars twice over, and then whatever you say afterwards, whatever. But those 2 bars alone will have everyone running around the playground. So that's enough, man.
But P, you're saying this as if you're a guy who's got a few bars himself. You want to spit anything or what?
I was always the producer in the studio.
But on a serious note, it's like just leveraging the resources that they have. If I wanted to get into photography, try it, fail. If I want to do more coding, we had coding in our course, but we were only learning it to pass our exams versus say, you know what, let me try and create a website. Let me network with people and say, hey, let's start up a business. Daniel mentioned a few weeks ago that he had this great business idea. We never just spent time in a room and just said, okay, let's try, fail quick, but just leverage the resources that we had at university to just try more than just, hey, I need to pass and just focusing on passing.
So I can't agree more. And it takes me back to a conversation I had with a gentleman called Toby, who was the senior mentor as part of the mentoring that we did in our second year, or I think it was in our second year. And what was interesting was I remember he asked me, what do you want to do after you finished, and how much, I guess, are you looking to earn? And I remember saying to him, probably about what they pay in the banks, 25, 27. And what he said to me was, why should I give you that? What have you done to increase your value whilst you've been on this university campus for you to warrant 27,000? Why don't I give you 16,000 as what they pay in the internships? And that conversation changed everything, because from that conversation, then I think myself, David, and a few others, we led by Yvonne, we actually opened up the Finance and Banking Society. So to your point, Olu, is that there are so many societies and so many activities that you can actually immerse yourself in. That would be a great place to, it's about, I would say, make a mess with the number of societies that you can get yourself involved in, because you build all the skill sets, and most importantly, you have a story to tell. So when you are sitting in front of someone that actually wants to take you on for an opportunity, you've got so many different opportunities and things you can pull from, as opposed to, I went to university, I got my 2-1 on my first, and here I am. Because actually that doesn't do it.
No, it doesn't. Doesn't do it at all.
DJ, what would you change, or if you would change anything?
To be honest, I wouldn't change much. I feel as though I had the right balance of meeting new people, developing friendships with a new network, because I went to university, as I mentioned before, without knowing anyone on campus or knowing anyone from college, sixth from college, going to that university apart from one person.
No problem, Daniel.
Huh?
Like meeting new people. Like I'm assuming you're talking about Pibilo and I.
Well, you're one. Yeah, you two are two of them out of many others. But I say that because something my brother said to me because he went to Brunel as well. He said to me, just make new friends, meet new people, just get to know different people, and that's exactly what I did. And even from the first day, I remember meeting David on the first day, because he actually lived opposite me. And then I met 2 other good friends on the first day on the Monday, and we're good friends since. So I was never I really enjoyed university. I enjoyed every single year, and I wouldn't necessarily have it any other way in terms of how the years went. There are things I will probably want to improve upon, but not necessarily change it, because I thought as though it went the way it should have gone for myself, because it made me the person I am today.
What are those things that you would have improved on?
Traveled more during term time.
This guy, man, you traveled.
You would never. Like,
I said that's your reaction. No, it's good fun actually. I had my season ticket.
No way we were going to be silent.
I had my season ticket. I can't really pinpoint anything I would have done, because, necessarily differently, because it went well. It's not. There's nothing at university that I regret. Put it that way.
Also,
but probably the question.
The question is more, I guess, how would you advise someone starting today?
No.
Exactly.
That's easy. If to someone who's starting, I would say, go with the intention of not trying to reinvent yourself, because I feel a lot of people go to university and try and reintroduce themselves. They might not be necessarily popular beforehand, but thinking, this is a new place, no one knows me, I can try and be the top boy.
Preach.
But I would say continue to.
You don't know. Wait, 1 second. You don't know how much I hated that. Yeah, there were certain people that you knew prior to university. Yeah, they come into university and they come up with a completely different image. Either they want to be the bad boy on campus, or they want to be
top boy, or the top boy, or the gallist, or the shame.
And you're like, wait. Tyrone, I know you from Ends. Like, this ain't you. You're good. You come from a good home. You come from a good home. Like, this ain't you.
The guy says, Tyrone, I know you from Ends.
You come from a good home. Like, this is not you. I tell you, that was continue, Daniel. But that was one that.
So it would be not to reinvent yourself, continue to be you, but at the same time, don't be afraid to meet new people, develop new friendships. For those who are coming to or going to somewhere where a lot of people from your past or from school, don't be afraid to meet new people. Don't just cling on and stick to them. Yeah, they're good friends. They might be good friends, but also use the opportunity to network and meet others, especially those on your course, because those are the ones that are going to help you in the tough times. Because if you miss lectures, you miss something, you need to know people who can help you. Yeah.
Daniel, did you know people when you were like at the beginning of university that were going to the same university?
One person.
Okay. Can you give some advice of how you ensure that you force yourself to, because sometimes you get comfortable.
It was awkward. It was painful. I remember the first evening,
because you've already got someone that you know. So how do you put yourself out there?
I'll tell you what's funny. And what's painful is, I remember the first evening, I think someone had like a drink up in Mill Hall, and I didn't live in Mill Hall. I went to Mill Hall, and then you see all these people, you speak to people, but what you don't realize is half these people are drunk. So when you meet them on another day, you're like, oh, hi. They're like, who are you? And it's like, it's the most, I'm being real. It's like, who are you? You're thinking, oh, I saw you, but they can't remember. So don't let that be disheartening either. But I went to places, not places that I shouldn't have gone, but went to places where I can meet new people, where it's going to be a lot of students. Yeah. And then you start speaking to people, because what you realize is you're not the only one in that same boat. There are many other people who are coming without knowing anyone that want to meet new people.
Yeah, sure.
It's so funny, Daniel, because it's true. Don't try and meet new friends like when you're drunk. Like, it's just people are not going to remember. Like Nathan, one of my close friends, him and I, whenever we went out and we got drunk, what we would do is I'll pretend my name is Nathan. He'll pretend his name's Olu, which seemed funny when you're drunk. Yeah. Not the next day when you're walking around and people are shouting Nathan, Nathan, Nathan to you, and you're like, wait, that's not me. So yeah, I would advise to make new friends when you're sober, not when you're drunk.
Not intoxicated.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just thinking though, before we maybe go into the next section, is the other thing that I would probably, if I was to start now, is try and seek international opportunities if it's through working or studying. Now, this is something when I was at university, I think by the time it clicked, like, oh, this would be cool to go to America for 6 months to study, or to go to somewhere in Asia. I was already in my final year. But something that I've tried to tell my youngest brother to do, who's actually gone on to study 6 months in America, and he had an amazing experience. So this is something that if I was to start again, that's definitely one thing that I would try to do, is spend some time abroad during your degree. And also just building on the networking, because the thought came to my mind, is I think it's very important to network in your university, within your course, outside of your course, go to all the fresher events. But also when you're a student, you get access to lots of networking events for other companies and other industries. So if there's anything that you're curious about, use that as an opportunity to go to like a consulting workshop, or to go to the Google offices for a day and see what they're doing. Those opportunities are quite limited once you're into the professional space and you're working. So try and maximize that as well. Those were the two that came to my mind just now.
Yeah. Like, I think quite a lot of us, I think all of us did this.
What, careers fairs or the
even that in terms of placements? The next one I was going to say is placements. Like, if you're going to university, please, I tell my cousins, I tell my friends the exact same thing that are going to university. Do a placement year.
Yeah.
Like, it is so important to do a placement year. You don't realize how much resources the university have got to try and place you into a particular job. When you leave after 4 years, with that year experience, you don't know how attractive you are going to be for the market or whichever industry you want to go into.
But it's also a lot to do with, I totally agree. It's also a lot to do with, it's all about discovery of self. But you can also be in a situation where you start to learn more about what you want to do and what you don't want to do as a person.
Exactly.
And the other thing also, which I think is probably the biggest value from internship, is as you enter your final and third year, the level of hunger, aggression to want to do well, just not only with regards to your subject, but just galvanizing people that you know. Do it, Daniel. Let's start to work together, because now you're starting to, you've been given more, so you can actually now do more.
Yes,
it's key. Everything is key.
Did all of you guys do placement years?
Yeah,
we did.
I don't know. We all I was on a sandwich course 4 years, 1 year as a placement, and the job that my graduate job was based on the placement. So I applied prior to finishing my internship.
That's true. Yeah.
And they offered me a job and just said, "Hey, go back to university. As long as you get minimum 2-1, you've got a place in." So like, I can't say even.
My younger brother now, Ishmael, is actually he started his internship at Boeing, and he's already identified the transformation that is taking place in himself. And he also mentioned to me recently, which I know he's on the right track. He says to me, I understand the importance of soft skills versus hard skills. So you want to kind of sort of learn this and make these mistakes as early as possible before you actually get into when it really, really matters.
And soft skills are so important, like presentation skills. Like learn how to present.
It's not even that. Sometimes it's the basics and the fundamentals, like knowing how to compose an email.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be surprised that some people that finished university, they might be so bright, got a first and straight A student, but they come into work and they can't even hold a conversation with a colleague, or they can't compose an email. And that's
internships help there because you're thrown in the fire where we've talked about our internship experiences, but it made us all better individuals and ready for the real world.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't actually do a placement year. I did summer internships instead, but I had kind of exactly the same experience where you get a feeling of what you like, what you don't like, and how to maneuver in an office environment. And actually, at the end of my summer internship before the final year of uni, I did a role which I didn't think matched my personality at all. And then it actually gave me the strength of knowing going into my final year what I actually want to do and what I definitely don't want to do. So I think it's important for everyone just to get some form of work experience, even if it's 3 months or 12 months. You can get a lot of value from it. But P, so I think we spoke about the different things that we would do differently, and we've touched upon some of the skills that we would learn. So networking, presentation skills, etc. Do you guys think there's any other skills that you would try to focus on even more, or is it mainly the networking and soft skill aspect?
I would even just say enjoy the whole duration of university.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we're so focused on achieving that degree, or we have pressure from other people or pressure from yourself that you want to do so well that you almost become overwhelmed and you don't enjoy the experience. But I found university as it's the full package. It's like studying, but also making friends as well along the way. Because something I went to university as a boy. I came out as a young man. And at the end of it,
big boy as well, big man.
You only notice the change at the end of it, or years later. It's only now that I see Facebook's a good reminder of memories of statuses I wrote, during university, at the beginning, during, and after. And it's
have you deleted some of those statuses?
No, I haven't.
I'm not gonna lie, I went through mine and cleared some out.
Nah.
Let's just say I've grown as an individual.
But there is that element, like Pete said, of the self-discovery that you come out almost like a changed person or a different person, and even it's something your family notice as well. And it's not even just those skills of studying, but also for some people they don't know how to cook before university. Some people finish university and still don't know how to cook, but then some others know how to cook, at least put a meal together for themselves, or like Olu know how to cook steak. Some may say he can't, but
is that different audio in the view?
but
Olu's got a different. You've got rare, you've got medium, you've got well done. Olu's got a different category.
What's Olu's on? Where on that scale is it?
Don't worry, sure. I'll invite you over.
I'm waiting for the invite. All right, cool.
I'll invite you over.
All these ones called still in the packet. But what I'll say, the thing is, the one thing I would try to sort of do differently and advise is to find this sort of harmony between work and everything else, because we all know every lecture is not valuable. Every seminar is not valuable. And there's only certain points in a year where you actually required to really put the work in. So trying to perhaps, it's not linear, is perhaps what I'm trying to say. I think there are months where you should basically go all in on your work, and then perhaps other months where you should try to start up activities and work with different fundraising or take some weekends out and do different experiences, but trying to get that sort of, maybe, I don't know, balance between the work and everything else. Because there are some times where there's no point trying to sort of focus or put work in this week because there's not much going on. So use that time to do something else.
And on that point, something I started doing, or especially in final year, but also throughout, say, second year, I started reading ahead of the lectures, so knowing what's coming next, because sometimes not every lecture is useful, and sometimes, you know, if it's early morning, I know myself that I'm going to start falling asleep when I'm not engaged in a lecture. So rather than just thinking I'm wasting my time sleeping, at least I know what's going to be spoken about, what's going to be lectured on, and then I know. And during placement year, towards the end, I asked a student who was in final year to send me all of the documents, like all the lectures, all the notes. It was AJ, and he sent me everything. So that way I got to read about things, and before my final months of placement, I was already reading into what I was going to be studying in the final year.
And I think that's a great point, Daniel. And 2 points which I would mention is, one, find your team. Like, find your power team in university is so important. Like, there was times where P, Daniel, a few other people would just go to the library together, John Crank building, and just do like all-nighters. And it's one of those things, 3 minds are stronger than 1. So I'm struggling in a specific area. That might be Daniel's strong point. Daniel will be like, hey, let me sit down. This is how you go through it. Okay. P struggling in a specific area. Okay, Olu, I'll go around. Hey, this is how you do it. And vice versa.
Especially when it's balance sheets. Olu was the guy at balance sheets.
Like, we all have our different strengths. And it's find your power team, someone that motivates you and drives you. I say, like, what got me my first class wasn't just, there was 2 people that got me in my first class. I'll say 2 main people. P's hunger. Like, P was just always hungry. As soon as he came back, he was just like, yo, let's go to the library. Let's do this. And also, I like a friend of mine, she didn't go to my university, but we had a competition to say, okay, who can get it first? If I get first, I need to take you out for dinner somewhere. If you get first, you need to, like, vice versa. So
who's this friend? Who's this friend?
No, just a friend. Just a friend.
Just a friend.
Because I like the way how when it came to a challenge in this particular case with this female friend, it was like, let's go for dinner. All right, cool.
No, that's what my prize could have been something different.
Okay.
But the point is, find your circle, find your team that motivates you and drives you. So I say, if you're going back to university or starting, find that team. It's not all about just finding a team to party and go clubbing with. Find that team that motivates.
Get that balance. Get that balance right.
That's why you need to know people on your course as well, because that's just so important. Because it's important. One thing I'll never forget is was it second year when we had that presentation and we came up in shirts and ties and trousers. Remember Alexei Pichigan? That we bossed that presentation. Even he was astounded. He gave us a round of applause. Never forget that.
What was the topic of the presentation?
It was C++. It was real estate. It was real estate.
And we needed all the marks in that presentation.
It was like a real estate kind of assignment, and then there was like, I think 6 of us or 5 of us in the group, and we just had to present to the
real
whole
estate.
class.
You sure it was real estate?
It was a real estate. Remember? Do you remember?
There was supposed to be 6 of us in the group.
I thought it was about building a simulation to run train tickets.
No, that was one of the C++ assignments. This particular one.
I don't think it matters.
It was I remember it was like a house. Yeah.
And the second advice, the second last one advice I have is look after yourself at university, like physically and mentally. It's the first time a lot of people have moved out of their family house. You're living by yourself. Make sure you're getting the right food in your system, nutrients. Don't just eat takeout all throughout the period, your time there. Make sure you're safe physically, mentally. Just look after yourself. There's nurses on campus that you can talk to if you're going through anything. Just make sure you look after yourself physically and mentally, because otherwise you're not going to be able to perform or get through the year. So look after yourself.
I just wanted to do a very quick sidebar on the C++, because I'm pretty sure when I met Pavilo the first time, he mentioned I'm a bad boy at C++.
That's probably what was on his CV. That's probably on his CV.
Probably still is. Check out his LinkedIn.
Oh my god, that's funny.
No, but probably when you met me, I could still do a little something. You get me?
What hello world?
Okay. Say no more.
Hello world.
But last thing, you're paying 9,000 a year. Don't waste it.
Yeah, like
it's a lot of money now.
That is, university is not for everyone. I think it's a completely different topic, but it's not for everyone. And I think we all know certain people that did 3, 4, 5 different courses. And it's like, don't be afraid to just call your parents and say, hey, this is not what I think is right for me and I want to go down a different path. But if you're going to go to university, try and make the most out of it. You might fail your first year, but then find something else that you truly want to do. And don't just pick a course because you're trying to follow people or show face or your family want you to do a particular course. Like, even if it means take a gap year before going to university, go there giving 110%. Otherwise, you're not going to get through the whole 3 years.
Yeah, my one piece of advice as we start to bring it a close and wrap it up is all of the value that you get out of the university will not be related to your course. It's going to be related to, again, the different activities that you started or you were part of. And for me, when I look back, because it's the people, at some point in time, what you studied fades. It no longer matters in the workspace. It's now what experiences you have based on your last role. But what stays is the people that you've met. So you see myself and Olu and others, we're still talking, we're still working together today. That's the value. That's what I paid.
Why you like deliberately? Deliberately.
Oh wait, no, when the second,
It's cool because next week there's going to be 3 members of Take Flight podcast.
This is why I love video, because the second Pabilo finished that sentence, I looked at Daniel's face and Daniel's face like this.
I know, I'm out.
No, my mind was somewhere else. Daniel, come on, you know.
And I don't know. Well, I know now.
But you got to remember, when we did a few episodes back, when we were talking about people's love languages, Daniel is a guy who likes to be told reassurance. He likes to be given words of assurance.
Cool.
You know what, bro?
Piece that I know. Yeah, I know now.
You know what? You know what, Daniel?
But it's cool. Wait, Olu, did you get a video call from P yesterday? 45 minutes.
Look at Olu's face. It's to be scheduled.
I was busy yesterday, to be honest, so I wouldn't have picked up if you had called me for 45 minutes.
He didn't call you anyway.
You always pick up my call, B. You always pick up my call.
We'll schedule some time.
Sure.
What would I advise? Basically, Freshers Week, people. For me, it's very important to have the balance. Okay, you're there, you're at university. Yes, this is going to be a pivotal period of your life. Yes, you're going to learn a lot. You're going to make some amazing friends, but make sure that you're not spending all of that time in the library. Really enjoy it. Go to these different societies. Go out, have fun. Through that, you're going to learn and grow as an individual. So yeah, just keep it all balanced.
At what week or month did you first go to the library?
I mean, I failed my first year because the whole year was, instead of Freshers Week, it was Freshers Year for me, bro. So I was just enjoying it. But for me, that was like, I mean, we spoke about that in the failures episode. That was a big eye-opener for me. And then it made me become a better person afterwards. That's why I don't think you need to go to that extreme of failing your first year like I did. You can keep it balanced and still have a good grade and make the most of your experience as well. Actually, by the way, before we close, I have one question for Pabilo, but let Daniel share your advice and I'll ask Pabilo the question.
I've already shared my advice.
I'm a bit.
Oh, was it already? Oh, cool. Then the question, because I think because Daniel mentioned earlier about the fact that when he goes back to his Facebook statuses when we were at university, now I think we all know that there was one guy in this group who did not have social media until probably he finished university. So my question is, Pabilo, if you were to start university now and you didn't have a social media account, would you start one on day one of university, or would you still go the full 4 years without any social media presence? Because nowadays you're all up on everything. So this is what I want to know.
All money in.
It's a great question. I'm leaning more towards no, because I wouldn't have understood the value of social media. I know now how to really put it to good use.
Yeah.
But back then, no, I have to say no. Honestly, I have to say no. As much, and it's a great question. I have to say no because
it's the memories. Do you know what I mean? It's a way to meet people.
Yeah, but I think there's enough free time at university to meet people. I think there's enough time for you to get around. I think when you start working in a corporate space, that takes up so much of your time. Then social media is really needed to keep in touch. And the only reason why I got it is because we met obviously people in New York, and it was good to keep in touch. But I think looking back, no, I think it's about knowing you have to be ready for certain devices and certain platforms. You have to know yourself.
I started university without Facebook, and
then after day one,
I still didn't have it. I was like, I tried to go and say, no, I'm not gonna get Facebook. I don't need this. Then it was like a few months later, I was like,
I remember I got mine was because I left college. It was May 2008, and it was everyone was leaving college and then going their separate ways.
This guy loves a date, man. You got your dates all lined up, bro. Your dates.
From memory, but yeah, that was when I got it.
cool.
So, man, so hopefully our many young listeners can take a lot of value from this episode. Pete, is there anything you'd like to add before we potentially close?
No, I mean, just really any listeners that know of people that are sort of starting university or going into the second and final year, please recommend for them to listen to this. I think it could be of use, and also add your own advice when sharing this with them.
And also, if you're one of these people going to university or going back to university, if you're, speak to people that have gone before. To I'm struggling with this. How did you navigate this? How did you, how did you go through it? To get some of the real life practical advice, because sometimes your parents may not be the one you want to speak to, but you want to speak to someone who's gone through it in a more recent era.
Cool.
So thank you for listening to this episode. If you have any feedback for us, you can hit us up at takeflightpodcast@gmail.com via email, or you can hit us up on our socials on @takeflightpodcast. That's all for now.
Thank you, guys.
See you next week.
Friday. Enjoy your weekend.
Happy
people.
Friday.
Boom.
Guys, love.
Started.
Take off,